subject to inheritance tax. And you know what I thought? Why the hell did I bother? Why the hell did I bother to work hard and save money? I might as well have just spent it all down the pub or whatever. But that's what they're doing, isn't it? That is what they're doing. And because there'll be no cuts to the ballooning welfare bill, left this country. They left because taxes are too high. They left because laws have changed. But they left because if you're young and want to set up a business, and want to work hard, and want to do well, Portugal, Italy, Greece, the UAE, Dubai, Australia, America, these are now more tempting places for our brightest and best young people to go. It is a tragedy for our country that huge numbers of young, bright, intelligent people are leaving. And you know, if our rich people leave, they're also our biggest taxpayers. And if our biggest taxpayers leave, that means that everybody else earning average incomes has to pay more. And no party's got the guts or courage to stand up and say this. It was Jeremy Hunt that launched this attack, that started this exodus, and I fear that after Thursday, this exodus will get bigger. When we're in government, we will make sure that the people who pay the most tax come back to Britain and pay tax into this country, benefiting us and benefiting ordinary workers. And we have to do that, and we must do that. We've got to get it right. We've got to get it right. Now that's enough said about Rachel Reeves for one day. Some of us have to sit there and watch the whole thing, you know. At very close quarters. Hopefully she won't burst into tears, but maybe the rest of you will burst into tears by the end of the speech. And we have a Prime Minister who seems to be now obsessed with me. No, not in that way, I promise you. Every Prime Minister's questions, all he can do is hurl abuse. And this is because never before has a government with a big majority collapsed in public opinion and public trust as quickly as Starmer's government. He doesn't believe in a single thing. He's a man without principles. He is not a leader. He is bad for Britain. But the good news is, he won't be long for the job. From somebody that we now know is a Chinese spy. Think of this, that we're about to approve the new mega embassy for China to be built on the site of the old Royal Mint. And then we've got the Conservative Party. Do you remember them? They used to be rather popular here in North Wales, but of course their record in government, and particularly after 2019, when in post-Brexit Britain there was so much optimism, but Boris failed us in every single way. In fact, if you think about the state of the British economy, the highest taxes since the end of World War II, open door mass migration, 4 million people came during the time that Boris Johnson was Prime Minister, despite all the promises to reduce the numbers. The boats crossing the English Channel. Well, don't say they weren't warned, because I was going out there in 2020 again and again, warning about what was happening, predicting, and I said in 2020, unless we acted on this, there would be an invasion. Well, you'd have thought from the press reception that I ought to have washed my mouth out with soap and water. But 180,000 people later, I was right to identify the problem, right to say what would come to this country, and right to predict the correct level of public anger at the waste of money and the risk to national security of tens of thousands every quarter of unidentified young males coming into Britain. It is a complete disaster, and the Tories let it all happen. And frankly, the Rwanda plan could never ever work, just as Shabab Mahmood's plan can't work, because none of them face up to the facts. We are signed up to a convention that was written in a post-war world. The European Convention on Human Rights might have been well-intentioned 75 years ago, but it now stops us being a proper country. Because proper countries control their borders. So there was a long list of Tory failures, and I think public trust in them has evaporated, and I don't see it coming back at all. I think their 200-year journey has come to an end, and I believe that we now, in Wales and across the rest of the United Kingdom, we have now replaced the Conservative Party. We are the force of opposition against the Labour government in Westminster and Cardiff. We are the opposition now. Shame on him. But it all brings me to Wales, where today I've been out meeting with Welsh farmers. Not only threaten these family farms, run for generations in many cases, and maintaining our amazing countryside, and threatened not just with Rachel Reeves's punitive inheritance tax, but now, and this has happened, hasn't it? Anything national government can get wrong, the Labour Party in Cardiff can always make worse. And they do it with everything. They do it with everything. So there was a new farming scheme, a new sustainability farming scheme that Welsh farmers are pretty much being strong-armed, nay blackmailed, into signing up to. And it says they have to plant an awful lot of trees, and that should be their priority over food production. Now, I like trees, but I'd rather Welsh farmers got on with doing what they've always done and farmed and produced food for the marketplace. But to qualify for the grant, they now have to meet 12 key criteria, 12 key tasks they must put in place and report online monthly to make sure that they have fulfilled them. I'll share one or two of the gems with you. They have to put forward designated site management plans, including AgriSGOP, e-learning, mentoring, an advisory service. We then go on to accredited training, surgery, e-learning again. Oh, and this one, I love this one. Now, habitat maintenance, all right. Hedgerow management, we're okay with that, yeah, that's okay. Benchmarking, what in God's name is benchmarking? Benchmarking. This is utter nonsense. People in Cardiff Bay have no Labour Party, and propped up by Plaid in too many cases, want to put Welsh farmers through a bureaucratic hell and stop them doing what they've always done. And if we win the elections next May, we will get rid But I've also today met family businesses here in this town, also threatened by the Labour Party.